For centuries, Rome ruled the known world. Its mighty legions conquered nations, its emperors commanded millions.
But even the greatest empire in history carried invisible cracks beneath its magnificent surface. How could a civilization that seemed unstoppable collapse into history?
This is the story of ambition, corruption, invasion, and one of history's greatest downfalls. Welcome to Lost Lament. Today, we uncover the dramatic fall of the Roman Empire. At its greatest extent, around 117 AD, Rome stretched across 3 continents. Nearly 70 million people lived under Roman rule, connected by roads, laws, and powerful armies.
Every road seemed to lead to Rome, the beating heart of an enormous empire.
Yet governing such vast territories demanded enormous wealth, resources, and constant military strength.
As the empire expanded, its borders became increasingly difficult to defend.
Enemies gathered beyond every frontier, waiting for moments of weakness. Inside the empire, another danger quietly emerged: political instability.
Power changed hands through conspiracies, assassinations, and civil wars, instead of peaceful succession.
Some emperors ruled for only months before being overthrown or murdered.
Between 235 and 284 AD, Rome entered one of its darkest periods, the crisis of the 3rd century. Trade declined, cities suffered, and inflation devastated ordinary citizens.
Even the once powerful Roman currency rapidly lost its value.
As confidence disappeared, so did the empire's economic stability.
To restore order, Emperor Diocletian introduced sweeping reforms across the empire.
He divided the empire into eastern and western halves, hoping stronger leadership would preserve Rome.
The strategy delayed disaster, but it could not erase centuries of growing problems.
The greatest challenges were still ahead, and soon the empire would face enemies unlike any before. One emperor briefly restored hope. His name was Constantine, a ruler whose decisions would reshape the Roman world forever.
In 330 AD, Constantine founded a magnificent new capital on the ancient city of Byzantium. Constantinople stood at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, perfectly positioned for trade and defense.
While the Eastern Empire flourished, the Western Empire slowly grew weaker with each passing decade.
Political rivalries, economic decline, and shrinking military strength continued to erode Rome from within.
Beyond the empire's frontiers, entire tribes searched desperately for new lands. Then came a terrifying force from the east, the Huns. Their speed, skill, and brutality sent waves of fear across Europe. Driven by fear, the Goths fled toward Roman territory, seeking safety inside the empire. Rome allowed many of them to cross the frontier, but poor planning soon turned hope into disaster.
Corrupt Roman officials exploited the starving newcomers, demanding outrageous prices for food.
Desperation became anger, and anger soon became rebellion. The empire underestimated the strength of its new enemies. It would become one of the most devastating battles in Roman history.
The Roman Emperor Valens ignored advice and attacked before all his forces had arrived. Suddenly, Gothic cavalry charged from the flanks, smashing into the Roman lines. Roman formations collapsed under relentless attacks from every direction.
Emperor Valens disappeared during the fighting and was never seen alive again.
Nearly 2/3 of the Roman army was destroyed in a single day. The defeat shocked the empire and shattered the illusion of Roman military invincibility. From that moment onward, Rome fought not for expansion, but for survival. Yet an even greater threat was already rising, a king whose name would become legendary, Attila the Hun. By the mid-5th century, one man had become the most feared ruler in Europe. His name was Attila. Known as the Scourge of God, Attila united the Hunnic tribes into a terrifying military force. His cavalry struck with incredible speed, leaving cities in flames and entire provinces devastated. Even the powerful Eastern Roman Empire chose to pay enormous tribute rather than face destruction. In 451 AD, Attila launched a massive invasion into Gaul, today's France. Roman generals formed an unlikely alliance with the Visigoths to stop the advancing Huns.
The two mighty armies met at the Catalonian plains in one of history's greatest battles.
Thousands clashed beneath dark skies as cavalry thundered across the plains.
The fighting lasted until sunset, with devastating losses on both sides. Although Attila retreated, the Roman victory came at an enormous cost. The Western Empire had survived another invasion, but its strength was fading rapidly.
Decades earlier, another disaster had already shaken the empire to its core.
The Visigoth king Alaric marched directly toward the Eternal City. For centuries, Rome had stood untouched by foreign armies.
Then, in 410 AD, the impossible happened. Rome was captured and sacked.
For 3 days, the once glorious capital was looted, its people living in terror.
Although many historic buildings survived, Rome's reputation as an invincible city was destroyed forever.
Across the empire, fear spread faster than any army.
More barbarian kingdoms emerged inside lands that had once belonged to Rome.
Roman authority weakened as local rulers took control of provinces once governed from the capital. The empire still stood, but its foundations were collapsing beneath the weight of centuries.
The final chapter was approaching. Within a generation, the Western Roman Empire would cease to exist.
After decades of invasion and internal collapse, the Western Roman Empire stood on the edge of extinction.
In 455 AD, another devastating blow struck. The Vandals crossed the sea and sailed toward Rome.
With little resistance remaining, the invaders entered the Eternal City once again. For 2 weeks, priceless treasures were carried away, and Rome's wealth vanished across the sea. The empire no longer possessed the strength to recover from repeated disasters.
Powerful military commanders now controlled the government, while emperors became little more than symbols. One of those emperors was a teenage boy named Romulus Augustulus.
Though he carried the title of emperor, real authority rested in the hands of others. Meanwhile, Germanic soldiers serving Rome demanded land and rewards for their loyalty. When those demands were rejected, their commander, Odoacer, chose rebellion.
In 476 AD, Odoacer marched into Italy and defeated the remaining imperial forces. The young emperor was forced to surrender without a legendary final battle. Rather than executing him, Odoacer spared the former emperor and sent him into exile. The imperial crown was never replaced. The Western Roman Empire had officially come to an end. Historians remember 476 AD as the traditional date marking the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Yet Rome's story did not truly end. The Eastern Roman Empire continued for nearly another 1,000 years. Roman law, engineering, architecture, language, and culture continued shaping civilizations across the world. Many governments, legal systems, and military traditions still carry Rome's influence today. The empire fell not because of one battle, one emperor, or one invasion, but because countless crises unfolded over centuries. Its collapse reminds us that even the greatest civilizations are never guaranteed to last forever. But Rome's greatest victory was not its conquests. It was the legacy it left behind. From triumph to tragedy, the Roman Empire changed history forever, and its echoes still shape our world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, subscribe to Lost Lament and join us as we uncover the forgotten stories that shaped our world.